My name is Rich. I'd like to show you a project that I just completed. I just finished installing and upgrading the stairs here in my home. Now what you see right now is the completed project, but in the inset you can now see what I started with. It's not that they were so ugly, but they were pretty plain, and we've made quite a change. The next photograph that I'm showing in the inset is the layout that I did for the landing. I wanted to have a little medallion that's in the pattern of this runner, and in order for everything to look right, I needed to have the medallion centered on the landing, and then I go up and down from that point. The Rug Depot, the place I purchased the runner, did the mitre joint on the landing for me, and it came out great. So following these photographs, I'm just going to show you how I got to where I'm at now and let you see how easy it is to do what I've never done before. Thank you. The most important part of getting this runner properly installed was making sure that I had a good starting point. I needed to have the medallion centered going up the stairs and going down the stairs. So I have a uniform distance on both sides of the runner, on the upper flight of stairs, and the same thing on the lower flight as we go down. So what I did is I laid the medallion right here. I ran the carpet up the stairs, centered it, and then ran the carpet down the stairs and shifted it back and forth a little until I was centered going down the stairs. I then took my air nailer and I fired nails, staples actually, they're little U-shaped staples. I used an 1¼ inch staple. It's a little U-shaped piece and it grabs the carpet perfect. So I fired a row of staples around the perimeter, and that held this in place. It's got the padding underneath it. Once I had this in place, I worked down the stairs to get that in place, and then I turned and went up the stairs, and you'll be able to see that further on in the video. The mitre joint, you saw that little blue diagonal line previously on my layout. That mitre joint runs right through the carpet right here. And Rug Depot did such a great job of that. It is totally invisible. I couldn't imagine a better job. They offered to do that as soon as I mentioned what I wanted to do, and I'm very pleased with the way it came out. What I've done is wrap it around the nose. I've used this carpet chisel to jam it up in here, get it good and tight, and then put the stapler in and fire some staples into it. And then I come over here and I line it up, and I take the same chisel and I drive it into the corner. And just by chance, my tape measure is exactly the space that I need on each side. So I'm using that as a gauge just to keep me square as I'm going down the stairs. So I'm ready to do the next piece here, and I'm going to kind of just start working that back in. Checking my gauge to make sure that that's looking pretty good. Got that nice and tight. Okay, that's already stapled up underneath. Take the stapler, and I'm going to fire a row of staples right across that inside corner. Now I'm going to kind of work this down, get it around the next corner. I've got to give myself a little bit more slack right here so I can get that up. Working this forward, turning the corner. And here's where I took this chisel and just kind of jammed it in here. There really isn't enough room to swing the hammer here.
So what I've been doing is just kind of tucking it in like this, trying to just start getting it up into position. Kind of awkward right here. Working it forward, make sure I got no extra material up on top. Once I get that in tight, I'm going to start in the middle, fire a couple of staples, work my way to the edge. And that's just the same process coming right down to the bottom. Once I start on the upper, I'll take some more pictures going that way. I just laid one of the metal bars, the brass bars up above. It's not installed, I just kind of wanted to see what it looked like. Well, I've turned the corner and now I'm heading up the stairs. The up the stairs direction seems to be a little easier working from the bottom up than working from the top down. I just take the I rented this knee kick tool. I left the tack strip in place, so I can just kind of jam that in there, and that catches it. Taking the chisel, I can set it behind it. Continuing to use my tape measure over here, you can see, as my gauge. Once I've got that set in place, I just fire another row of staples. Then I pull this down a little bit, get a little extra slack. Shove that back up like I was doing before with the chisel. Getting her good and snug. And fire some more staples. So that's going pretty good too. It's going to look great.